So the first person I want to welcome up here is Chuck Zeitler, and he completed one of our support programs, and then he also has been in leadership for 3 years. I think this is on his 3rd year. So will you welcome Chuck with me? Thanks for being here, Chuck.
No problem, wouldn't miss it.
So how did you get connected with Mid-Valley Fellowship?
Back in 2009, I was invited to this banquet by Dwight Wolf. And it's funny, he told me tonight that he was afraid to ask me because I was that big bad biker that he didn't want to talk to. I attended this banquet for 3 years, supporting Mid-Valley Fellowship. It was an awesome organization. The whole time I was living a double life. I was addicted to pornography and numerous times had been asked to be an elder in my church and I declined. I told them if they kept asking I would leave. Because I knew that I had a double life. I knew that I was hiding what I was doing. So, okay, we'll get to my story now. I started at 12 years old. I lived in Pennsylvania, and my church sent a bunch of us to a youth retreat in Missouri. Now, on this bus was a girlfriend of mine from my church. While I was at that retreat, I met another girl and became sexually active. And back in those days, I used marijuana, so I had some marijuana on me. So the maid found it in my drawer, and we had some relations just so she could have some of my pot. So, not thinking about that, I had a bus ride all the way back to Pennsylvania, and it was supposed to be with my girlfriend. We can say hi to each other, but we do not talk. It destroyed everything. So, at the age of 16, I was a pretty big guy, and I actually had a driver's license that said I was 21. I've been pretty much this size since probably 16 or 17. And my next door neighbor, who was my sister's best friend, lured me over to her house to talk to me and raped me. Now, she threatened me that if I said anything, she would go to my parents and her parents and say that it was all me. And so I tried to tell my family about it, but, it's impossible. A girl can't rape somebody as big as you. And I'm like, well, what did you want me to do, punch her in the face? I mean, it's just, I still knew some things were right and some things weren't. So that was the start of this. And then about around 17 or 18, I went into the military because the judge made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was either, because I had the ID and everything, I was running with an outlaw biker club. And so he said, you're either going to the military or you're going to jail. So I left. And I did a total of 24 years in the military. But during that time, it just got crazy. I mean, I was single. I was in countries all over the world. And life was good as I thought. I could do what I want with whoever I wanted, and I treated women the way I was treated when I was 16. And since then, I've had some friends before I came to Mid-Valley, and some women that I've known, and the military taught me this neat little trick. It's called verbal judo. So I could be sitting here talking to you, telling you, hi, it's so good to see you, I love seeing you. And really what I'm saying is, I hate your guts and I wish you'd just leave. But, I was in military law enforcement for a while, and they taught us how to deal with people so that we didn't upset them. So, okay, and then this wonderful thing happened. I met my wife, Cindy, and I thought, hey, this is all going to go away. It'll be great. I'll have a partner all the time. Life will be good. Yeah, right. It got worse. I treated her bad. when I was gone or whatever, pornography was easy to get, different things to do. Remember, we're falling back this year, tonight. And I really drug her in the mud. And I didn't realize it for a long time. We've gone to some Christian counseling and tried some things, but still I would turn back and I would medicate with pornography. This whole time I thought that my problem was pornography. Well, 2012 came around and I hit bottom. I was so tired of hiding it. I didn't erase stuff from the computer anymore. I forgot to do things, and she found out. Well, you know what? I'm glad. I came to Dewan and I wanted help. I'd heard about it through the banquets and we were supporting them, and I wanted help. So, but I have to be honest. Probably the first 2 weeks to a month I was there, I wasn't a very nice guy. I was angry, upset, and even threatened to hit a guy. But somebody told me, Dwan, to stick it out, and I did. And it got better the first year. It got a lot better for me. So I went ahead and stuck it out. And the second year, I wanted so bad to graduate. Some of the things that helped me in the program, too, between the first and second year was Dwan had me write a letter to my mom who had passed away. And I went back from one of my niece's weddings, and I actually went to her gravesite, to the crypt where she's at, and I read the letter out loud. I got ready to leave there, and I had to sit on my brother-in-law's motorcycle for probably 15 minutes to stop crying so I could see. But it was healing. It was strength. So then the second year, I really had the zest. I wanted to do it. I wanted to get it done. And some of the things there were, one of the things was developing healthy intimacy. And at the retreat that year, Dwan had me write 2 letters. And one was to my father, because my father, it was a big status symbol for him when I became sexually active, and he bragged about that to all his friends. He even, as far as some of the things, he told my wife that she shouldn't be with me. I'm lazy. I'm not really worth anything. So, but then I wrote a letter to the girl that raped me. And I did this because the last time I was home, I saw her life. She lives directly across from my best friend. And her life has been miserable. She's been through numerous divorces. She's got kids to each one of them. And she's just had a miserable life. I don't want her to suffer anymore. So I wrote the letter, and I gave that letter and the one to my dad. I left it at the altar for the surrender service. Now this was big for me. It really was. Because that year, the morning of the retreat, I crashed my motorcycle and broke my leg. So I wasn't going to go. And then I called Dwan and I said, well, I got a friend bringing me a wheelchair, and if I can fit it in my car, I'll drive up there and I'll spend the weekend and do it. Well, my friend got there, I got up there in time, and everybody helped me out that weekend. They literally carried my wheelchair in and out, and it was a phenomenal time. And for me, every time I would go to the surrender service, and I would listen to what the ladies were saying and how they felt and what happened to them, I realized what I did to my wife, and it hurt. I would cry more at their stories than I would for my own stuff. But it was healing. It really was. So, my second year, I also felt called to come back to Mid-Valley to pay it forward as a volunteer leader. I've been doing that now for 3 years. Also here recently, in my second year, right at the end, my pastors at my church asked me to become an elder, and I accepted. So, I don't know how it worked, but it was my first year, and some of the other elders were like, we don't like to speak in front of people, and we don't like this, so you're going to be the head elder. And I'm just like, why do we need a head? Why can't we just all be elders? So, and then, with all that happening, I'm still serving as a volunteer leader. I wouldn't miss it for the world. And back in August, I became a pastor. So, I'm still at my church, and I will be, but the Lord has given me a vision to down the road, I'm going to open a biker church in the Mid-Willamette Valley somewhere. So, these aren't my normal clothes. Normally I would be in leathers, but the funny thing is I can wear either one as my church clothes. So, I'm just so thankful for the people in this program, and for not only that, you know, for Dwight breaking the silence, and for me being able to talk to my church, and my pastors want me to give my full testimony about my whole life at the church sometime in the near future, so I'm working on writing that. All I can say is this ministry is a blessing, and it's phenomenal. And please, if at all possible, do what you can to help keep it going, because we need to break the silence. There is one other thing that from the books that helped me in the 7 pillars. There was a lesson, or 2 lessons, called helping your wife. That was a big turn for me. When I got to those, I realized that I could do this. So, I'm just thankful to be here. Thanks.
Amen.
Well, thank you, Chuck, and it's been awesome to walk with you through a lot of this, and so just proud of you for all the work that you've done and how you've allowed God to work in you. So thanks for sharing.
Amen.